Greetings everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm back with a brand new video and it's been a highly requested video for quite a while now, and that is my everyday makeup tutorial. Now this is going to be one that I do for the winter season, and it's kind of adaptable to any sort of look you want to go for, and it's specialised to help people with visual impairments to know how to put makeup on. I'm not claiming to be an expert though, I just like doing makeup, I like wearing makeup, and this is a tutorial with some of my personal tips on how I like to do my makeup. So I'm going to crack on straight into it. I really hope you enjoy it and let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to be using today is the Bourjois Healthy Mix foundation. I love this because it's a really nice creamy consistency and it gives you a really nice even coverage. So I'm going to start off by putting some of this onto my hand, a couple of squirts, and then taking the Real Techniques Beauty Blending Sponge, which has already been dampened, I'm going to begin to put this on my face. A tip for this, you start off in the middle and work your way outwards. Never start in the outer corners of your face because you end up with a line around your hairline and your jawline, and it's just so difficult to blend that out and you'll just get, it just doesn't look very nice. So just try and start it off from around the nose area.
Just continue to dab this across your face in gentle motions.
In terms of knowing how my foundation's spreading, if you follow the tip of doing what I said and go from the middle outwards, you shouldn't get any sort of lines or any sort of marks on your forehead, anywhere. I'm going to do my forehead as well in a second once I've just done the bottom of my face. Also take it and blend it out from the jawline and the hairline, just so you get a nice even consistency. I would also say less is more, so if you find that you need to put more foundation on, you can do that, but don't put too much on in one go because then you just end up with a load of foundation. You don't want to waste any of the product.
Blend this around your hairline and around your jawline and make sure that you get any creases in your face, like where your nose is or your eyes are.
So once that's done, I'm just going to quickly take my Real Techniques Expert Face Brush, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly blend around my jawline, just going downwards towards my neck, my nose as well, under my eyes and around my forehead, just making sure I blend it into the hairline because otherwise I don't want to end up with any marks on my face, so this just helps me blend it in a bit better. So once I've done that, I'm then going to take my concealer, and the concealer I've got is the B range by Superdrugs, and it's their under eye concealer. It's very brightening and it's just a really nice consistency, and I tend to find it always brightens up my eyes and just makes me look a little bit more fresh looking. The way to do a concealer, under eye concealer, is that you do it like you would draw a V underneath your eye. So you start from one corner, go down, and then the other corner. You want to go about 2 centimeters downwards from under the eye, just so you get the full coverage. And I'm going to do it again on this eye as well. And then any problems areas, I always do sort of my nose area, the little crease in between my nose, these spots that I might have. Then taking again my Real Techniques Expert Face Tool Brush, I'm just going to blend that in on my face. I prefer doing this because I feel that it covers a wider surface area as opposed to what your fingers would, and it's easier to blend things in using this. So you just want to gently buff this into your face, don't go too hard on it. Blend where you've done it.
Continue to gently buff this into your face in the areas that you've applied the concealer. What I would also say to do is to just go over it with your fingers just to make sure you haven't missed out any patches.
Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bit of bronzer. I like just putting a little bit on, even though it is winter, just because I feel that it makes me look a little bit more healthy. And the one I've got is the Bourjois, I'm going to try and pronounce this, Powder Bronzer. I think that's the French translation. It's made from cocoa powder and it just gives a really nice even coverage on your face. So I'll take my Barry M bronzing brush and I'm going to just buff a bit of this onto my face. And then just, in circular motions, apply this all over your face. Don't restrict it to one area. I'd say do it all over your face, especially if you're visually impaired, because you don't want to end up getting marks or lines on your face. Then I would say also take a little bit and blend it into the neck, because you don't want to end up with a bronzed face and a white neck, because that really does not look good. And then just make sure that you blend it everywhere, including over the hairline, around the temples, jawline, just to make sure that you get a nice even coverage. Now moving on to blush, I'm going to use one of these 3 colours in the Sleek Trio palette, which is called Pink Lemonade, and they're really nice wintry pinky colours. Bear in mind these are very, very pigmented, so you only need a really small amount when you're using this, because otherwise it will just look like you're a porcelain doll, especially if you're pale like me as well. I'm going to take the end shade, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just get a small amount on my brush and tap off the excess, give it a little blow as well, because you don't want loads of blusher on, to be honest, if you're going for something quite natural looking. And then just in circular motions, focus it on the apples of the cheeks and then sort of blend it upwards and outwards. Going in a circular motion around the sort of the eye area, but obviously don't put blusher on the eye because you don't want to do that. And then just give it a little blend, outwards, downwards. Be very subtle with this. Don't overload the brush when you're using blushes though, because it's really difficult to try and correct it after you've done that. Now moving on to eyes, I'm going to first of all do something on my brows. I'm going to use this brow gel, and this is by Gosh, and what this basically does is it will make your eyebrows stay in place for the whole day. Just going to gently brush this on like you would if you were actually brushing your eyebrows into submission. Just put a small amount of that on. And just do it in a sort of direction that your eyebrow naturally arches in. So where your eyebrow will start to arch, you need to, change the direction. Then do the same on the other eyebrow. While that's drying, I'm then going to focus on my actual eye makeup. Now today I'm going to be using my beloved classic Naked palette. This is the first original one. I love this because it's really great for the winter season especially, and it's got some really gorgeous shades in there. And I'm going to take my set of eye makeup brushes from Real Techniques, and first of all I'm going to take the outer crease brush, and what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take the shade in Sidecar.
Now I'm going to begin to gently apply this to my eyelid from the inner corner of my eye outwards, making sure to go slightly above the crease, which is where the eyeshadow should end, and making sure to blend it outwards.
What I would tend to say when you're using eye makeup is to just work with a little bit less and just keep adding until you feel like you've got enough. Don't, like I said, don't overload the brush, because it's just harder to correct eye makeup when you do that. So what I'm going to do is just going to spread this across my eyelid slightly up above the crease. This is when I can't see what I'm doing, so I just have to go by feel. And what I would say for this one is that you need to focus. You first of all start from the inner corner of your eye, towards your nose, and then just blend it outwards, just so you get quite a nice natural gradient effect. And then just take this up and blend this upwards slightly above the natural crease. And the way to tell where your crease is when you open your eye, you'll be able to feel it with your fingers. Then what we're going to do is I'm actually going to take the brush that you get with the Naked palette, and I'm going to take the lightest shade from the colour, which is called Virgin, which is sort of like a whitish sort of colour, and I'm going to take a small amount of that, and I'm going to focus this on the area just underneath my eyebrows to act as a highlight. And this is quite easy to do as well. You just need to remember where your eyebrow ends and where to put it, I'd say. If you find it difficult, you can use your fingers as well if you're not too sure, but I personally would recommend using brushes because you just get a nicer effect that you wouldn't necessarily get by using your fingers.
One thing I would say with this is to be quite confident in knowing where your eyes are, just to make sure that you don't get any fallout afterwards.
Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the brush from Real Techniques again, and this is the one for the inner crease, and it's a slightly smaller one with a little slightly pointed top. And I'm going to take the shade in Half Baked, which is a really lovely rich gold colour, and it's probably one of my favourite shades from the Naked palette actually, and it's a shimmery one. So basically what you need to do is you need to sort of act like you were drawing a C shape in the eye. So start from the top section and work your way around the outer corner to the bottom section, and that's the only way I can describe it to you really.
Just like I'm doing now, continue to work in small C-like motions at the outer corner of the eye until you feel that you've done enough. And build up if you need more to avoid getting any fallout.
And then I'm going to blend. So for blending, I've just got this Clinique blending brush. You can pick these up anywhere. It's not any really certain one. You should just get just a bigger brush that will look basically like what a general eye makeup brush would look like, but bigger. And then you want to blend this in small circular motions. I'm not going to blend too much because I want to keep the effect, but I just want to slightly blend this in. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to curl my eyelashes. I think these were from Eyelure, I believe. I got them in a freebie with a magazine. Now what you want to do is, I usually go by feel with this. So you need to feel when your eyelashes are all through the curling one. You don't want to go too full in there. You don't want to start pulling and tugging at your eyelashes. And then gently but firmly, you want to hold down for about 10 seconds. Just so that your eyelashes will curl all evenly. And I'm going to just do the same thing on the other eyelash. Now for mascara, I'm going to be using the Benefit They're Real Mascara. I love this because it's really lengthening, it really gives your eyelashes volume and texture, and it's one of those ones where it does live up to all of its expectations. I can safely say this is one of the best mascaras I've ever used. So I'm going to start off on my first eye. Now when it comes to putting on mascara when you're visually impaired, it's really about practice and about knowing things are on your face and just having that sort of depth perception. If you're not too confident, I wouldn't recommend doing the lower lashes until you get used to it. Or of course you could just take a clear mascara and then just practice. And if you do smudge, it doesn't matter because you're not necessarily going to see it. Don't bat your eyelashes, don't open your eyes really widely when you've just done them with mascara, because otherwise you'll end up getting it all smudged across your eye and then it's really difficult to get it off. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my eyebrows, and for this I'm going to be using the Sleek Eyebrow Duo palette. Lighter colour is the powder and it will act as the colour and definition of your eyebrows, and then the darker one is more like a balmy consistency, and that will just basically set your eyebrows in place and just give them a nice finished look. So that's why I personally tend to use a duo palette as opposed to an eyebrow pencil. And the first shade I'm going to take is the lighter one using the slanted brush. And what you want to do with this is you want to take a small amount and you want to just focus it on your eyebrows. I like my eyebrows to look quite dramatic. You might not want this sort of look. If you're worried about trying to do your eyebrow, I think the thing I'd like to remember is remember where your arch starts in your eyebrow so you know where to change directions. Now moving on to lips, I'm first of all going to use a lip pencil to outline my lips. Lip pencils are tricky to use, and if you're visually impaired, I'd recommend going with a lighter colour, or don't go for something too dark like a red or a plum. Go for something that goes with the natural colour of your lips.
I gently run the lip pencil across the shape of my lips, making sure not to press too hard, but be gentle but firm. And making sure that I pay attention to the cupid's bow and the bottom lip, because the bottom lip is a little bit more harder to draw than the top lip. Also be sure to blend this out a little bit with a blending brush for your lips after you've finished, to give a more natural look.
Then I'm going to take my lip gloss of choice. This is the one by Smashbox and it's the one called O Gloss. What this basically is, it's a lip gloss that will work with any shade of lip. So whether you've got darker lips, whether you've got lighter colour lips, this will just basically work with that and tint it to a shade that's more natural and healthy looking. And this is really easy to use if you're not too sure about what lip colour to go with, and it's just a great everyday lip gloss.
Gently glide this across both lips, making sure to pucker after you finish to get the full effect.
So this is my finished makeup look, as you can see. I hope this has given you some tips and advice on how to do your makeup for the winter period. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and let me know if there's any other looks you'd like me to do or anything you found interesting about this video. And don't forget, I'll be doing more videos very soon, so I will see you guys next time. Bye!